Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unravel the mysteries of earnings reports and company filings. Today we're diving into Applied Therapeutics' latest filing, and let's just say they're playing a little game of financial musical chairs with their share offerings, and it looks like they've switched partners. Stick around to decode what this means for investors and the future of Applied Therapeutics. Alright, so what we have here is a current report on Form 8K. Think of this as a company's way of telling the world about important stuff that's happening right now outside of their regular quarterly or annual reports. It's like a news flash for investors. This report is from Applied Therapeutics Inc. They're a biopharmaceutical company focused on developing treatments for serious diseases. You might know them from their work in areas like rare diseases or metabolic disorders. Their main product for investors to look at is their common stock, which trades on the Nasdaq under the ticker symbol APLT. Now let's get to the heart of what this filing is all about. The company has entered into a new agreement for something called a Controlled Equity Offering Sales Agreement. Basically, they've partnered with an agent, Cantor Fitzgerald & Co., to sell up to $75 million worth of their common stock. This isn't just creating new stock out of thin air though. They're using a previous shelf registration statement that was filed a while back. This means they had already gotten permission from regulators to sell more shares if they needed to, and this agreement is how they plan to do it. So they can sell up to $75 million worth of their stock. They aren't obligated to sell any of it, and the agent isn't obligated to sell a specific amount either. It's a flexible arrangement. The agent gets a commission of 3% for any shares they successfully sell. That's a pretty standard fee for this kind of arrangement. Think of it as a finder's fee for selling their stock on the open market. Here's where it gets interesting. This new agreement with Cantor Fitzgerald effectively replaces an older one they had with Leerink Partners. They entered into that Leerink Partners agreement back in August 2023. Under that old agreement with Leerink Partners, Applied Therapeutics managed to sell a little over 20 million shares. And this brought in about $49.3 million after all the fees and expenses were paid. So while they had the ability to raise more, they raised roughly half of what this new agreement allows for in total. This suggests they're either ramping up their fundraising efforts or they found a better deal with Cantor Fitzgerald. Now, for some of the important supporting documents, Exhibit 10 or 1 is the actual sales agreement with Cantor Fitzgerald, and Exhibit 5.1 is a legal opinion from their counsel, Goodwin Procter Elt, confirming that the shares they're offering are legally sound to sell. And finally, the authorized signature on this report is by Les Funtleder, who is serving as the Interim Chief Executive Officer and Chief Financial Officer. It's pretty common for top finance execs to sign off on these kinds of filings. So what's the big picture here? Applied Therapeutics has secured a new, potentially larger funding mechanism by bringing on Cantor Fitzgerald as their sales agent. They've ended their partnership with Leerink Partners. They raised about $49 million under the old deal. Now with this new agreement, they have the capacity to raise up to $75 million. This tells us a few things. First, the company likely needs or wants to raise more capital. This is common for biotech companies as drug development is a very expensive and lengthy process, often requiring significant funding rounds. Second, by switching agents, they might be seeking better terms, a more efficient sales process, or perhaps Cantor Fitzgerald has a better network to reach potential buyers, for their stock. Remember, these are at-the-market offerings, meaning the shares are sold through normal trading on the stock price. However, it raised $9 million under the previous agreement and now have the capacity to raise up to 70 V-valuing the shares already held by investors. The fact that they raised $49 million under the previous agreement and now have the capacity for 75 million suggests they might be prepared. Now, looking at this filing from a broader perspective, Applied Therapeutics is in a position where they're actively managing their capital structure to fund their ongoing research and development. The move from one sales agent to another isn't inherently good or bad, but it signals a proactive approach to securing funding. A key risk here is the ongoing dilution of existing shareholders. Every time they sell new shares, the ownership percentage of current investors decreases. However, if the capital raised is used effectively to advance their drug pipeline and achieve regulatory approvals, the long-term value creation could outweigh the dilution. Investors should be keeping a close eye on their clinical trial progress and any news related to their drug candidates, as that will ultimately be the driver of the company's success. The ability to raise up to $75 million gives them a financial runway, but the market will be watching to see if they can translate that funding into meaningful scientific and commercial progress. And any news related to their drug candidate candidates, as that will ultimately be the driver of the company's success. So what's my take on all this? Applied Therapeutics is making moves to ensure they have the funds to keep their operations going and develop their therapies. They've swapped out their fundraising partner for what they hope is a better one, and they've got the green light to sell more stock. It's a standard practice for companies in their industry, but it always comes with the trade-off of potential dilution for existing shareholders. The real test will be how effectively they use this new funding. If they can pull off some major breakthroughs in their drug development, then this stock sale will look like a smart strategic move. If not, it could simply be a sign that they're burning through cash. Alright, that's our deep dive into Applied Therapeutics' latest SE filing. What are your thoughts on this stock offering swap and their fundraising strategy? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, do give this video a thumbs up, it really helps us out. And of course, if you want more of these decoded financial insights, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. You can also join our Discord community for more discussions linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.